How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us on this Monday, 1st of July, 2024. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a moment and hit that thumbs up button if you're over on YouTube or Rumble. Take that red pill if you're over on Pill, and smash that heart if you're on X.
We appreciate it. I guess it helps that the microphone's on. We appreciate that. We appreciate you hitting all those buttons. Anyways, oh my
It's
God.
like a little virtual hug.
I got my squirrel on today.
You do.
Well, whatever. Anyway, so what do we have going on? Well, we have to go say hi to everybody first, but you're still doing things. Oh my God, you want me to just like say stuff? I have nothing to say. I know nothing. I know nothing. What's up, Aaron? How you doing, man? There you go. What? See, now I'm waiting on you. Yeah. Okay. So F. Clint started a live stream. He was playing his little zombie game. It was interesting. It was fun. I stopped by, had some fun chit chatting and stuff like that. But yeah, we definitely killed some dino chickens. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, if you want to click on F. Clint's name, if you're on Rumble, and take you right to his page, and I'm sure it'll pop up there.
Yep.
Anyways, Jenny.
Miss Jenny, watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
How you doing, Jenny? Hope you're doing good. Thanks for joining us.
Miss Jan.
Hey, Jan, what's going on? Hope everything's going fine.
It is a glorious day to be alive.
It is a glorious day to be alive. It's a nice day today. And
Lightspear.
then it turned like 108. But whatever.
Yeah,
What's
know.
up, Lightspear?
Got
Oh, gee, there.
Colleen.
Well, hey, Colleen. Hope everything's going good.
Miss Shauna.
Got Shauna. Hope everything's good over in your neck of the
There's
world,
Miss
too.
Bethany Ann.
There's Bethany Ann. What's up, Bethany? Bethany Ann.
She was busy, I'm sure, doing all kinds of stuff.
She's always got things. I don't know how she does as many things as she does.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Always juggling.
Juggling. So it's been a very, just got off of the 9 to 5, which is I know.
Actually, it's 7:30 to 6.
It's normally about 5 o'clock in the morning till midnight. Don't let her lie to you. It's been an interesting day.
It's been an interesting weekend.
It has.
It was an extended weekend for the show.
Yes.
I wanted to come on Friday so bad because there was so much stuff going on. But I knew we'd get to it today.
Yeah.
What?
We will.
We will. We'll get to it. All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, there's Ryan.
What's up, Ryan? How you doing, man? Thanks for stopping by.
Jenny said she had a very busy Monday.
Monday.
And there's Miss Denise.
Hey, Denise.
So let's start with Tucker. And then we're going to get into some really important stuff. But we're going to start off
as if Tucker ever has anything that's not important.
Let's go.
All right.
But if I get another fucking lecture from Joe Scarborough about defending democracy, when this is not a democracy, it's not even a close approximation of a democracy, then I'm going to go crazy because I just can't deal with the lying.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. What's interesting is that there are people saying that now. And I think that's a relatively new thing in terms of mainstream media. And I consider what you do on X mainstream media. I mean, this is what we're on right now is essentially mainstream media. It used to be, you could call it, there's corporate controlled media.
I agree.
And that used to be mainstream media. Mainstream media used to be CNN. It's not really anymore. The mainstream media is what, in terms of the volume consumed, more people are consuming things on Twitter, on X, than there are on anything else. They're consuming information through the internet, through YouTube, for good or for bad, whether it's correct or incorrect. They're consuming information in different forms now than ever before. So more people are saying what you're saying than have ever said it before. And when people lie and when people bullshit and gaslight, it's more offensive now than it's ever been before because there's so much
well, the good thing is we got through most of it. I'm sitting here taking notes. This is an interesting thing. I'm going to try to.
Apparently, we didn't say.
Oh, what's up, Agent Smith?
You had a great weekend,
Hope you had a
Agent
good weekend.
Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just died completely.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well,
we got
I'm glad we got
all
Agent.
of it.
Well, the good thing is Agent Smith is always there to remind us when we forget him. What's up, Agent Smith? Hope you're having a good day.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. But anyways, all right. So you have Tucker, right?
Mhm.
And he's talking directly with Joe Rogan. And so these two are talking about now. And I'm glad that, Tucker's, pro truth about the whole Republic thing too. So the fact that this is now getting more and more mainstream is a good indicator that more and more people are waking up, because that means that the mainstream media, or the legacy media, as they continue to dwindle in relevancy, they have to try to keep some of the people that they're leaving, so they keep having to give ground in the area where they are like trying to create the narrative. Now they're having to react to the narrative as a legacy media. So this is another great indicator that says that as more and more people wake up, we are seeing that they are having to tell more truth to be relevant enough to capture the viewership that they do have. This also has the added effect of helping the people that are not paying attention to the narrative, or not understanding that they're only watching a narrative, as opposed to actually doing their own research, trying to figure out what's going on. What we're now seeing is that those people are now being forced into our direction, which says a lot about the momentum of the movement. And so therefore, this is one of those things, praise be to God, like things are actually moving the way they should. Hey, Bill, what's going on, man?
You see what Denise said?
That's a big voice putting it out there, what the MSM now means. Exactly.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, the legacy media is going away, and those guys are becoming the mainstream media of today. So they have, kind of taken the king out, really, if you think about it. And that's
Mhm.
great for everything that's going on with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, keep getting those people to wake up. It's working. It's working.
I know.
Yeah, there's the popcorn.
There's
Bring
the
the popcorn.
Bring
Did
the
we get the
popcorn.
tequila flavored pop, or the margarita
Margarita.
flavored popcorn figured out
Aaron's
yet?
working on it.
Aaron's working on it.
Leave him alone.
All
He's
right.
working on it. You ready?
Yeah.
In the Bible, Jesus tells Satan to get thee behind me, Satan. And it's interesting because if Satan is behind us and our eyes are up front, then we're not focused on him because he's back there. We're focused on what's ahead of us, hopefully the one we are following, which is Jesus. And today I just want to say, he placed our eyes in front of us and Satan behind us for a reason, because we are not called to focus on the sins that the devil is calling us into. We are called to focus on the very one who is leading us out from them. That's today's word.
Thoughts?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's exactly spot on in terms of where we need to keep our mindset. We need to keep our eyes focused forward, facing forward to where we're going, as opposed to back, because Satan is behind us. And so we, keep on with your walk, even though, basically the devil's trying to drag you down from behind, the monkey on your back kind of thing,
Mhm.
whatever, imagery you desire. But what that is that, yeah, that may be happening, but don't worry about that, because that was in. Even today, we make mistakes. I can think of 1,000 mistakes I made today. And so I need to readjust myself, and then not worry so much about that, about those mistakes, other than to say, okay, don't do those mistakes again, and keep driving forward. So yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, stop looking in the review mirror.
Yep.
Beautifully said.
There's a reason why the windshield is so much bigger.
Yeah. The
So-
windshield is a lot bigger.
This happened today, and
Uh-oh.
I'm super excited.
All right.
Sponsors alert, we're going to get out of that commercial break because we have word that the Supreme Court has issued a ruling on the extent of presidential immunity from criminal prosecution for conduct alleged to involve official acts during the tenure of President Trump. This is the big one we've been waiting for. It's consequential. It's really interesting that the Supreme Court, in 248 years of our history, has never actually ruled on this. So it is big and sweeping. And I have our political panel looking over this right now. Andy McCarthy, Chief Justice John Roberts has the writing on this. He's got the pen. Is that significant?
It's very significant. This is the most important case of the term in terms of the long-term interests of the executive branch, in terms of the short-term interests of Donald Trump. And it looks like, at least within the bounds of clear executive authority, what Chief Justice Roberts is saying is that the president clearly has immunity from prosecution. So the question is going to be, again, I think Trey underscored this before, is what is an official act? There's going to be a lot of litigation about that, and what's close to the core of clear executive constitutional authority versus the outer ambit of it.
Fox News Alert, we're going to get out of that commercial break.
So,
Okay.
thoughts?
I don't see how they really changed much of anything, because the immunity, or at least the way I understood the presidential immunity is that you're immune from doing anything that's
But
constitutionally
that's
legal.
That's why they were going after Trump, though.
I know,
That
because it
Jack
wasn't
Smith, like Jack Smith, is done now.
right. Yeah.
It's been dismissed.
Oh yeah, it's been dismissed, and I think that's great. But all this does is it reaffirms the way it should be, and that's, obviously the sleepers, they're going to be kind of cranky about the whole thing, but then again, they're just sheep, and so therefore, they just go with the hate that they have, not understanding that there's something more than their own little worldview, and it's all based off what they saw on TV.
Well, that's the problem, is that you have people like this.
Mhm.
You ready?
Yeah, it was so hard not to say anything about this ass clown.
So Donald Trump's campaign manager just threatened me.
No, he didn't. But let's hear your bullshit reasoning.
In response to the immunity decision from the Supreme Court this morning, I said on Twitter, according to the Supreme Court, Biden can now send in SEAL Team 6 to take them all out. He could send in the military to take out Trump. He has immunity for official acts now.
Yeah, bro, you just advocated for the massacre of the Supreme Court and the assassination of Biden's political rival. That's not okay, dude. That's not something normal people do. But let's see what Trump's campaign manager actually said to you.
I guess the Trump campaign didn't like that very much, because Trump's campaign manager, Chris LaCivita, responded to me by saying, expect a visit.
And?
Now, what do you think that means? Is the Trump campaign threatening me with a visit?
No, genius. He's saying the FBI is going to come visit you. He's saying expect a visit from the FBI or the Secret Service. You just advocated for the massacre of the Supreme Court. You just advocated for the murder of a political rival, a duly chosen representative of the Republican Party. You advocated for the president to murder them. So he's saying expect a visit from the government, because you cannot advocate for the murder of elected officials. You cannot advocate for the murder of political candidates. And you certainly cannot advocate for the murder of Supreme Court justices. You cannot possibly be so delusional to not recognize that's what you just did. Yes, you should expect a visit, Harry. You should expect a visit from the FBI and the Secret Service, because the last person who advocated for the death of a political rival, the last person who advocated for assassinating a political candidate, the FBI kicked in his door and shot him 34 times. So yeah, expect a visit.
Thoughts, Santino?
Well, he said it better than I could. Okay, so y'all remember that thing where I was saying that maybe he's kind of like possibly an operative, like trying to wake people up? Yeah, I take that back now, because that was just straight up stupid. Like, and I think it would actually be because, okay, so words are hard, right? Anyway, so who protects the Supreme Court justices? Which governmental agency is in charge of that?
Marshals.
There you go. Yeah. Right. So this would possibly be tied into a RICO something or other, because they're giving him the words to say, because there's been other trolls, not just him out there, who've been either hinting to, because they were smart enough, if that's what they're paid to do, hinting at that, or just straight up outright asking for it. They're going to pass Harry around in jail like a jug of toilet wine. That's not nice. We need to pray for this man. Yeah,
little boy.
Yeah, we need to pray for this young
He
man.
is big mad and in big trouble.
Yeah, he is big. Exactly. He is
Hey,
big mad
Wendy.
and in big trouble. Hey, Wendy, what's going on? It's take his little punk butt to jail for 6 months or so. Yeah. Well, and I think that might straighten him up. Like, okay, maybe the money's not worth it kind of scenario. I don't know if he would fare well at all in Gen Pop. Anyways, Chops says they tried a novel legal theory to usurp presidential immunity and set precedent. Yes, they did, and it's beautiful that it's something that has been challenged.
Me
Now-
too, Shauna. I hope he does get a visit.
He probably will, and yeah, and hopefully it'll wake him up because yeah, he had a direct threat on the Supreme Court justices and a former president. That's such a stupid thing to do. Come on, kid, pull your head out.
Exactly. I'm praying that he gets a visit too.
Yeah, because that's uncalled for. It's unreasonable,
Mhm.
and it's not good political speech.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like
Not
seriously,
in a constitutional republic or something like that.
they are all crying. Hold
Mhm.
on. We got another crier.
Oh God.
Here we go.
Hmm.
She plans to file articles of impeachment, Judge. Here's the tweet. Throw it up on the screen. The Supreme Court has become consumed by a corruption crisis beyond its control, she writes. Today's ruling represents an assault on American democracy. Now it's up to Congress to defend our nation from this authoritarian capture, she writes. I intend on filing articles of impeachment upon our return. To you, Judge.
You know, Sandra, whenever anyone on the left talks about an assault against democracy, you know that it has little, if any, meaning. That's their go-to line when they don't have a substantive argument. Look, our government is set up in a way that there are three branches. The Supreme Court is a branch that has final decision on legal decisions in this country. They are not willing to accept it if it doesn't align with their political ideology. And this is part of the institutional breakdown of our government. We are now in a scenario where the left and the people who call themselves progressive are not willing to accept a 6-3 decision by the Supreme Court. But make no mistake, there have been administrations, there have been politicians who have been in disagreement with decisions for the last 150 years. But now, all of a sudden, they think they should be able to impeach a Supreme Court justice. Look, a lawyer can be brought before the grievance committee for trashing a Supreme Court justice. And the sad part about all of this is there is a final ruling in this case. Their hatred for Donald Trump, their political ideology that causes them to support someone ideologically or cognitively declined is something that they consider paramount, and they're willing to do anything to destroy our system.
Well, Judge, the timing of this decision has really allowed the Biden.
Thought Santino.
Founding fathers are rolling in their graves. And I'm going to go in a little bit different of direction.
Little Chihuahua face irritates me.
What was that movie that's coming out about the space landing? And we were going through the different people and we
Fly
said,
Me to the Moon.
yeah, Fly Me to the Moon. And one of the actresses could easily pass for the new version of AOC.
Her
Anyway,
Chihuahua face irritates me. I expect her to shake at any moment.
Okay, other than her appearance, whatever. She's not really worthy of being put up for Congress. I mean, you may as well be concerned that Guam's going to tip over. But I digress.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go in a different direction, though, and I'm going to say, remember, our constitutional republic is about checks and balances. So they may try to delegitimize Congress, to being a check on the Supreme Court. I think that it's important that possibility is there. So we need to make sure that doesn't get shut, because that is something important. Because if things had gone a different way and it all relied, if the Supreme Court is corrupt, then we have to be able to go after them. Also, remember, they said, think mirror. That's another thing that they can do is okay, so you want to go after the Supreme Court justices via an impeachment article? Okay, good. Now we get to use the same procedures that they used. So
Mhm.
again, kind of QE there, but it makes a lot of sense. So think a mirror on that one, because that is something that's going to be important, because it could come back and show that those three justices, if they are as corrupt as we believe them to be based off of the information that we have,
Mhm.
that we would want to be able to remove them and put those more constitutionally minded in there. So Jan says, so even Justice Thomas knows that Jack is authorized to go after Trump's, it seems.
Actually, Jack is not authorized to go after.
Yeah, he shouldn't be
Trump.
able to.
That's why it got thrown out today.
Yeah, it got thrown out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, glad that's going on.
Yeah. I agree. What's good
for the goose is good for the gander. But and that reminds me. Thank you, Jenny.
Isn't.
Oh, yes. There we go.
No, you didn't say the S
Oh my
word.
God.
Oh,
And you're just going to throw her under the bus like that.
Everyone throws me under the bus. I love you, Jan. The left is losing big time.
They are losing big time. And our founding fathers would be disappointed that any generation let it get half as far as it did. But how else are we supposed to strengthen our individual liberties if we don't know what, like a lot of us, we don't even know what we should have, but we will fight for it as we get it. So yeah, truly grateful.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, this is just for entertainment, and nothing I say is factual. It's just all opinion. So you know what I mean. TikTok, all entertainment. Okay, so you guys, everybody should be jumping down in excitement because of what just happened, and I don't feel that people realize what just happened. So I'm going to tell you. So the Supreme Court recently ruled on a case called the Chevron case. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to tell you because it's exciting. So all of these agencies that we have in our system, from the EPA, FDA, CIA, FBI, Department of Motor Vehicles, Department of Education, you name it, all these agencies, okay? When they were created, they created their own laws and rules for each agency, what you can and cannot do. For an example, if you are the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicle, they made their laws of you have to have registration, insurance, etc. to operate a vehicle. What the Chevron case did, they just ruled that all of those laws for all of these agencies that created them for their agency are all unconstitutional. Yeah. They created laws that were not passed by elected officials, which is unconstitutional. That is freaking huge, you guys. Like, we should be celebrating in the streets because this is the beginning. Trump said that in his last speech that we are in a 5-month transition period and it's begun. Guys, it has begun. What we've been waiting for.
Thoughts, Santino.
So,
Thank you,
Denise. Yeah, thank you, Denise. She said, can we have a moment of appreciation for this beautiful plan unfolding before us? Grab the popcorn, friends. It's glorious. And it is glorious. The whole Chevron deference thing, like, this is a huge deal. And really what they did is they said, okay, when they did the Chevron deference, what they did is they made corruption legalized, basically.
Yeah.
And now it makes it so much more difficult because everything is going to have to be run through the courts. You can't have one agency saying, well, we're the experts, so therefore we say that you have to take this vaccine that isn't necessarily healthy for you and could be counter to your health and cause problems. And we are the experts, so you have to listen to everything we say. So this prevents that. This prevents the fox in the hen house, and the fox is making the rules in so many ways. This is
so many
huge.
ways.
Yeah. So yeah, thank God this is big. This is going to be what's going to change a lot of things. And I think we do need a stronger judiciary to help keep things a lot more honest. And with more judges, I do believe that it's going to, give more people an opportunity to get involved. I think that this is going to be a healthy thing for our legal system moving forward. Denise says Chevron impacts so much. No more ESG, no more FDA, no more CDC BS. Heck, even OSHA may be on the list. Right. And we know OSHA does a lot of good things, and we should, keep that in mind. But they also do a lot of things that really hamper progress being made on so many fronts.
And what she was talking about, Jenny, is she was talking about paying for registration and insurance. But what has happened is the DMV has just decided this is what you have to do instead of it being sent up Congress. No longer can companies just say, hey, this has to happen. It has to be made a law, basically.
Well, it'll make it easier to challenge things like, okay, why do I see so many cars on a daily basis without a license plate? Why do I see so many cars on a daily basis that have paper tags that have expired for months on end? Why have
a year.
Or a year. Yeah, over a year. So what is the benefit of this? Because you're charging more than any other state in the nation. And so, like, what are we getting out of this? Because all I see is a lot of traffic cones and a lot of traffic snarls. And then I see that those roads don't last very long. And so, like, what are we paying for? And this is a pathway to that. And so we might get some real changes moving forward.
Which we should.
We should. It's not designed to make anybody's life easier, to include the people behind the counter. And
back in the day, insurance wasn't mandatory. You could have insurance if you wanted it. But a lot of times people would say, hey, just go get me 3 quotes, and they dealt with it like adults.
Right. Yeah.
None of this running off because you don't have insurance. None of this. If you do have insurance, your deductible is $2,500 because that's all you can afford. So if something were to happen, you're screwed anyway.
Yeah, because you're never going to be able to come up with the $2,500.
Exactly. And after my car accident, we pay a little bit more. But I know what our deductible needs to be. I know what underinsured and underinsured and non-insured motorists we need to be at. I know the medical payments. I know all of that.
Wisdom, sadly.
Yeah.
But the thing is we can challenge things like that. Why when they don't do anything? So this is a big thing for us to be able to take our country back and stop letting us get, taking it in the tailpipe because, somebody's been paying the people inside these unelected office spaces from getting things done.
And insurance is bullcrap anyway, because even if you do get in an accident, they try their damnedest not to pay anything, or at the bare minimum,
right?
And then they jack your price up, whether it was your fault or the other person's fault.
Yeah, and meanwhile you put in more money into insurance than they're going to give you, which is, that's a great business model to make everybody on the that's in the country to be beholden to that. Wow, how do I get a gig like that?
Exactly.
Right. So
it's ridiculous. Thank you, Denise. It is something I'm very passionate about because, like, Nick's going through that right now with this accident that he was in.
Yeah,
dealing with
Poor
just
Nick.
bull crap.
Yeah, I mean, he's making his way through it, and God is definitely guiding his path. So that's a good thing.
Please keep your prayers up for him.
Keep your prayers up for him as well. But he's doing good. This really is. I mean, just the mind, and that's something that's near and dear to our hearts. Wendy says, I remember when my insurance was $65 a month, full coverage, and I was a teenager. Yeah, I know. I remember that too.
Those were
and-
the days.
And then they just get to decide. They just get to decide to raise your rate, even though nothing bad has happened.
Exactly.
How does
Our
that work?
insurance went up by $60 just because we moved from one zip code to another.
It's crazy. Yeah, we got off on a tangent here.
Oh, anyway, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. We should probably move on.
So we have a Monday prayer. So
Yeah.
I'd like everyone to pray with us.
All right.
Heavenly Father, as the sun rises on this beautiful Monday morning, we stand at the threshold of a new week and the beginning of a new month, July. We come before you with hearts filled with gratitude and anticipation. Thank you for the gift of life, for new beginnings, and for the opportunities that lie ahead. Lord, as we step into this fresh week and this new month, we seek your guidance and wisdom. Fill our hearts with your presence and our minds with your clarity. Help us to embrace the days ahead with confidence and purpose, knowing that you are with us every step of the way. Grant us the strength and determination to face any challenges that may come our way. Let us approach each task with diligence and a spirit of excellence. Empower us to make choices that reflect your will and bring glory to your name. We are grateful for the beauty of July, for the warmth of summer days, and the chance to enjoy the splendor of your creation. Help us to find moments of rest and rejuvenation, and to appreciate the blessings that surround us. As we navigate through this new month, remind us to remain steadfast in our faith. Let our lives be a reflection of your grace and love. May our actions and words bring glory to your name and inspire others to seek your presence. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Well, that was beautiful.
Wasn't that amazing?
That was amazing.
I figured it's Monday. It's the first of the month. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's all get ready for this wonderful month that we're all going to have, because things are happening. Things are happening.
Beautifully said. Amen. Very true.
So you
So
ready?
yeah, let's drive on. All right. Oops. There we go. And
all right, America, pull up a chair because we have some things to talk about. We all saw what happened last Thursday with the presidential debate and Joe Biden fumbling and bumbling his way through the entire 90 minutes and basically embarrassing our country. But that's not my main concern or my main focus today, because what I really want to know, and what I think the American people and the world deserves an explanation on, is who is making the day-to-day decisions in our country. Because if you're telling me Joe Biden is making these decisions after what we saw last Thursday, we have a major national security issue. This guy didn't know the difference between mashed potatoes and Medicare in front of millions of people last Thursday. And the White House is saying this guy is making decisions on a day-to-day basis. And not only that, they've lied to us for who knows how long on his mental condition, saying that he's sharp, he's focused, he has no cognitive delays, no signs of dementia, that he's with it. And we all saw the truth on Thursday. And granted, this was after an entire week of prep. The guy couldn't put together a coherent sentence after a week of prep for this debate. So the question I have is, if Joe Biden isn't making these decisions, who is? Who is making the decisions in the White House if Joe Biden is not? Is it Kamala Harris? Is it Jill Biden? Because apparently Jill is running his campaign at this point. Is she also making decisions? We don't know. Is it another senior official at the White House? Who is making the day-to-day decisions for our country and for our world? Because it cannot be Joe Biden, and if it is, we are in big trouble. This guy holds the nuclear codes to thousands of bombs. You're telling me he is in the cognitive state after what we saw last Thursday to make a decision on something like that if the time were to come? You've got to be kidding me. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We deserve to know who is making decisions, and we deserve to know the true state of Joe Biden's mental health. And this starts at the top. We've been told by the White House physician that Joe Biden is sharp, that he has no signs of dementia, that he's all there, he's cognitively perfect. We've been told this for how long? And we've had concerns about this for how long? Since he took office. And the Democrats have a lot of explaining to do because they cannot hide anymore. After what we saw on Thursday, the mainstream media, the White House, the Biden campaign cannot hide, and Americans in the world deserve to know the answers and what is going on in the White House. People talk about Trump on January 6th, the insurrection at the Capitol, trying to overthrow democracy. But how is what the Democrats and the mainstream media have been hiding from us any different than the potential overthrow of democracy on January 6th? We don't even know who is making the decisions in the White House at this point. They have lied to us over and over and over on Joe Biden's mental condition, and we deserve to know the truth. This is no different than overthrowing the Capitol on January 6th. In fact, this may even be worse because they have been lying to us this entire time. This is not the American way, and this is not upholding democracy, and the White House has a lot of explaining to do. This is wrong, and we all deserve to know the truth. We'll sit back and watch what happens. At this point, I don't know if we can believe anything that the Democrats and the Biden administration say because we have been lied to for so long, and we deserve to know the truth. And we cannot be okay with this as Americans. We voted this man into office as a country to make decisions for our country, for the world. And if that is not the case, if that's not what's happening or what has been happening, that is a big problem, and we deserve to know, and we cannot be okay with this. Whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, I don't care. It doesn't matter. This is wrong, and we need to do something about this. And the Democrats and the White House have a lot of explaining to do, and they need to be held accountable for this.
The great uniter there.
So the debate has really been waking people up.
It
So
has been waking people up. And you know what? Kudos to this young man for having the guts to actually say something, especially since he's obviously, you can't handle the truth. Boy, that's the truth as well, is he's just now starting to wake up. And thank God he is. Thank God he's speaking out. That's a good thing. He's going to start looking at things very differently now. So what does this tell us? This is yet another layer of people who are starting to wake up. So he brought up the whole, is Jill Biden doing this? I mean, we're pretty sure. Yeah, people have been saying it here in the comments already, and Kay's been popping those up. But the thing is he's got to get there. And this is, my God, I lost my train of thought. It's the next wave of people that are waking up. That's the end. Yeah, there. Totally squirrely Monday.
Really?
Yeah, like bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Old Joe, he wanted to debate the Donald one-on-one. And when the night had finally come, it was down to 1v1. And after the Donald got through, they poured Joe from his boots. He won't do that no more. Glory, glory, they had caught him in every lie. Glory, glory, they had caught him in every lie. Glory, glory, his pathetic career has died. He won't do that no more. Yeah, this is going to piss a few people off. I thought it was funny anyway.
That was great.
Thoughts?
It's Biden's done. So we've been racking our brains over the weekend. We were talking about it, and it, it seems like their best bet at this point in time is Gavin Newsom. He's the most popular in their party.
They're saying he's not stepping down. He refuses to.
Yeah, I know he refuses to, but this is where the 25th Amendment comes in. That Trump said, be careful because that one will come back and bite you. Something along those lines, right? So that's what's going to happen. And then you were saying that when was it? Is the deadline to
August 7th?
August 7th. So we have a month and a week basically as of today for them to get the 25th Amendment to go through. I don't see that a Republican on the planet would block this, only for the reason of, there's chaos in the other party and they have to win. That's the nature of that beast. So they will say, by all means, please remove him. Jenny, the president and VP can't be from the same state. All right. Yeah, I know that's one of the things. Cammy going to melt down if they put a white man ahead of her, breaks their DEI propaganda. Yeah, that's fine and dandy. But I heard Kamala was already, and thank you for bringing up the constitutional thing there, Jenny. I do appreciate that. Kamala's already been whining about not being, considered to move up. I saw something, I think it was in the Liberty Daily. But anyways, careful, not everything's awesome there, but there's a lot of good info there as well. Let's see. So I saw that she was already whining. Kamala Harris was whining. So that would indicate to me, because really in the end, who do they have? They can't take a Kennedy this time. Isn't that interesting? So who do they have that's going to be able to carry anything? And if you look back at the corruption that we've seen when there was the whole recount thing, and he managed to beat the recount, even though everything said that was kind of fudged numbers too. So really, they need at least California. Jan says, I wish they would let him go on to the election and just bury him, because if they take him out, then he will go down as a great president. I don't think they'll take him down as a great president. Is like, let's see, who is the other president to be impeached? It was Johnson, I think. It was. My history brain isn't working right now. I told you I'm having a squirrely day.
Yeah. Wendy just put this in.
Okay. Bombshell, Epstein documents unsealed after 16 years. Really? Huh. That's interesting. Just posted on Truth. Thank you very much for sharing that. Wow. Well, we'll see how much of that gets unsealed. And if you think about it, what is that going to do? That's a bombshell that's going to distract from other things that they have going on. Probably because they don't want a lot of people looking at what's going on with Biden now that Biden showed himself to be an ass. Okay, everybody already knows about Epstein. It's probably, it is on my mind. It's very much so. But and it's been on X a bit this afternoon. All right. So that makes sense. This is they're going to use Epstein as a distraction. So that tells you how many cards they don't have to play. It'll probably be scrubbed at least to an extent.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? What if Biden's on it?
I think it's all coming out.
Actually, Biden is on it, isn't he? From our understanding,
I know Obama is.
Barry. That's not gonna go well.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, buckle your seatbelts and get ready for the show.
You see Jan's comment?
Jan says, no, if he makes it and loses, then his reputation is on the line. But if they remove him, make him step down, his reputation will be wonderful.
Yes. Kim Clement.
Strange July. Boy, this will be a strange July if they let the Epstein list loose.
Exactly.
Ooh, man.
Shauna and I have been talking about Strange July for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe this is the strange July.
Avalanche of truth coming in.
Yep.
You ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Drip, drip, flood.
This former transgender is responding to the gay community. She has a recent book out called Transformation. I've been watching this interview and I've just been so impressed by how clearly she's tackling these difficult subjects that Christians are facing these days. You got to check this out.
Didn't hear the gospel till my junior year in high school, and I tried everything to quote unquote cure myself, tried to date boys, hoping it would awaken attractions to men, because I was not only transgender, experiencing the desire to be the opposite gender, but I was attracted to women exclusively, never knew what an attraction to a man felt like. And so I tried to cure myself, thought maybe I just need to date men and it'll awaken something in me. It didn't. It just made me more intensely jealous. And so I go away to college. I got involved in a campus ministry, and I did have a genuine experience where I met Jesus, came to know him, and I thought all this would go away when I became a Christian, and it didn't. And I think a lot of people are mistaken that they think you become a Christian and all that stuff just goes away. But it's no different than any other area of struggle. If you struggle with depression before getting saved, you might still struggle with that. Or, alcoholism or drug addiction or greed, selfishness, whatever. There's progressive sanctification as we come to know Jesus and become conformed to his image. I didn't know that. So I thought all this would go away, and it didn't. So I lived a double life for my college years. Nobody knew what I was struggling with, and I was doing the best I could to conform and fit in. And it wasn't until my senior year in college I confessed to my campus pastor what was going on. It was a terrifying moment because I was afraid he would reject me, but I was so desperate to know, am I trapped is there any hope? I didn't know if there was. I felt like I was born this way. Never heard a story of somebody changing, but my pastor responded with such compassion and just said, thanks for sharing that with me and trusting me with that information. And this doesn't change our opinion of you. We love you, and we're going to get you the help that you need. And that was the first step in what was an 11-year journey of transformation in my life. I didn't know it'd be 11 years, but it was, discipleship is messy. And I didn't go through a program. I was never part of, Exodus International or any of the, people talk about ex-gay ministries and all that. I was just a part of a local church of people who seek the Lord, ask the Holy Spirit what to do. And I got hurt in relationship, and I was healed in relationship in the context of the body of Christ. And Jesus so transformed me that I eventually was able to embrace who God had created me to be. I started to realize the sexual attractions and the desires to be a man, though they felt inborn, were really just sideways energy. The issue was not sexual at all. It was emotional, relational needs and rejection and wounds that just didn't get met. I had legitimate needs that I was trying to meet in illegitimate ways. And so as the Lord began to bring healing to those areas of my life, I started experiencing a change in no longer wanting to be a man. And even in my mid to late 30s, attractions to men began to surface, which was awkward and thrilling all at the same time.
You mentioned this 11-year journey. Why 11 years? Like, what happened at year 11 that made that distinction for you versus no, I'm on a lifelong journey? What was that? What was the breaking point from when you confessed that to your pastor? Which, by the way, what a beautiful response to somebody again in a time period that he probably didn't have much training but just led by the Spirit clearly.
Yes.
What was that mark at 11 years that you mentioned? Was it more just a feeling, or was there actually a moment that you felt, no, I actually made this change?
There was actually a moment. There's a story behind that, and I don't often have time to tell it. For me, and I am on a lifelong journey. I mean, each day I walk with Jesus, I'm more and more, secure in who he created me to be as a woman. And my attractions to men continue to grow, and I just walk further and further away from the past and who I used to be. It feels like someone else right now that I show those pictures. I'm like, wow, that feels like another person or another lifetime. But in my life, I think it was 11 years, partly because I didn't know anybody else who struggled with it. I didn't have answers. I didn't have an example of somebody who could give me advice, nor did my pastors. And we were just trying to seek the Lord. I think also partly because of what God's called me to do, the Lord just allowed me to pursue different, hey, this works, this doesn't work kind of thing. So now I can tell people, hey, I've been down that road, and you know what? I didn't find that helpful. And but for me, that 11 years was, first of all, helping me understand that the roots felt sexual, but it really wasn't a sexual issue. A lot of getting grounded in the Lord, first and foremost, getting to know him. And the point of my life being not these attractions have to change, or I'm not following Jesus, or, I'll give you 2 years, and if you don't change this, I'm going to quit. The desires changing was never the goal of my life. It was to know Jesus and be as surrendered to him as possible. Change started to come as a byproduct of that, not because I was seeking change for the sake of change. Really, some people look at whether or not you're tempted and say, well, if you're still tempted, you're not changed. And I'm like, temptation doesn't mean anything except that we live in a fallen world. Jesus was tempted, such as we are, but that doesn't mean anything except it's a fallen world. But at any rate, first of all, it was just getting grounded in the Lord and seeking Him for the sake of Him and being so surrendered to Him that whether these desires changed or not, that wasn't the goal of my life. And then secondly, I got connected with a Christian counselor, started talking about things in my life. I felt like I was born that way. So I didn't think there could be any reason that I was feeling the attractions I was feeling. And when I started to explore that, could there be a reason that I'm feeling these things? And if there's a reason, could there be a resolution? That brought hope and anticipation of, wow, Lord, this could change in my life. And again, that wasn't my goal, but it gave me such hope that I felt like I was stuck this way and I'd have to endure forever.
Beautiful.
That's Santino.
Bethany hit the nail on the head here. Wow, this is an amazing journey she's telling us. Love, proud of her. Yeah, 100%. I think that the greatest things about these messages, this message here, is that she actually got in touch with people who were caring and understanding. They weren't judgmental. They weren't trying to, you can't do that. They let her figure out in her own time and in her own journey, but helping her along the way, just keep moving forward, keep, okay, that's okay. But it was the lack of judgment that she received is what encouraged her to continue to move forward. So we can't sit there in judgment of anybody because they choose a different life and they may not see it as a choice, and that's fine. We all have to figure out what's going on within us. That's kind of the point of us being here. It's a schoolhouse. We're here to learn. And sadly, the only way we can make things better is to learn how to get through the pain that we have, and then we can help other people. Shauna says, powerful video, beautiful testimony. And I think it's great. I think it's great. We need to have that open heart with trying to help people come back. We should always be praying for people that they come to the light, but they have to get there on their own. I know that in my personal journey, I couldn't get there until I had gone through so many of the major portions of my ego. There's still tons of ego that I'm trying to get rid of, but that's part of the journey. That's how we get better. And we have to make sure that we're always looking at ourselves where we can improve.
Amen.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was beautiful.
Yep. Are you ready?
Always looking for the encouragement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unlike this. You ready?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the clip of Obama giving Biden the Medal of Freedom? Doesn't look like he's very excited. In fact, he looks terrified. Now I'm going to let you watch this, and I just want you to look at his face. He doesn't look like a man holding back tears of joy or excitement. He looks like a man that's terrified and about to lose his soul, perhaps. What's this Medal of Freedom really about? Is someone being let free into him? I'm going to show you another clip after this that kind of goes along with what I'm saying. Like I said, he doesn't look like he's excited. He looks terrified. Now, I know we live in a spiritual world, and I can't say for sure what's going on here, but I have my suspicions. And I want you to watch this next clip, like I said, and also look. That's original Joe. You can tell by those.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated.
And maybe I've been going about this wrong the whole time. Maybe Jim isn't wearing a mask. Maybe they're just shapeshifters. Have you ever seen this clip?
Clint Eastwood.
I don't care how good you are at manipulating your face. There are just certain things that human faces can't do. And he seems to be demonstrating them to me. Moving parts of your body and your head that just don't move. I don't know if there's some sort of technology going on here or they're literally just shapeshifters. But watch this. These parts of your body don't move. Now, I know I can have some wild theories, but I try to not speculate too much. This one's clearly speculation. But the end goal is to get you guys thinking outside the box so you can understand your reality better than you currently do. Because I would venture to guess that the reality you guys think exists is much, much different than you really think. But as always, this is just for entertainment. I'm sure this is just a perfectly kind gesture, and these guys are just normal human beings. Nothing at all sinister going on here. Entertainment purposes only.
There's two different things going on here. But with that being said,
thoughts?
Yeah, Joe did not look pleased. He didn't look like he was excited. Jim Carrey was, Aaron says, Jim Carrey was practicing in a mirror his facial manipulation since he was like 7. And yeah, I guess I did the same thing when I was a kid. I don't even know why, but it was, you can make your face do all sorts of weird things. But it's like, unless you're a TV person, it probably doesn't have any use in life whatsoever. So whatever. Anyways, worked for him. So I disagree with him there. It's Joe 2.0 played by Carrey. I think Jim Carrey is definitely playing some of the Joe 2.0 parts without a doubt. But I do believe that other guy that, oh God, what's his name? The other actor, British dude.
Sterling. I
Was it
can't
Sterling?
remember.
No, I don't think it's
can't
Sterling.
remember.
Anyways, I know y'all know who we're talking about. You know what? Either I'm a lizard people,
No, he's not.
or maybe it's, and sometimes I kind of wonder about that. If you can't explain it, then it's lizards.
Oh, stop it.
What?
Stop it.
Well, I mean, Giorgio Tsoukalos did it with the aliens. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. No, I'm not saying I'm a lizard person. Damn it, F. Clint.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Are
See,
you ready?
My eyes only blink one way. They don't do the other way.
Ridiculous. Shauna, you know how long we've been friends forever. See, he never changes.
The
He's
nice
just
thing
a
is the tail
goober.
keeps growing back.
Oh my God. Are you ready?
Yes. I kind of see it now.
We got
Let's
the
move on.
bishop.
We got the bishop.
Thank God for everyone. And thank God for everything that has happened till this moment. If you have done wrong things, if you have done good things, the good things, thank God for it. The bad things, ask God for forgiveness, but don't dwell on it. I beg you, Satan will come and he will always remind you of the negative things. He will always make it pitch black, dark in your face because he wants you to lose hope. Give up. You have ruined your life. You have destroyed your life. You've done everything wrong under the sun till this day. Thank God now and say, Lord, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I have sinned against you and heaven. I'm not worthy to be called your child, your son, but make me one of those hirelings in your house. Come back no matter how many mistakes you've done in your life, how many wrong things you've done in your life. Today is the day of repentance and redemption. Come back.
Thoughts, Santino?
Obviously, it's an older one. But, man, I love the bishop. He's just, he always says it perfectly. And then, obviously, God's speaking tonight because there's like a theme there. And that is don't look back. Keep going forward. Drive forward. Don't worry about what happened when. That's just Satan. That's your, if you want to say like you're in the motivational speak, that's, your ego telling you that you can't do that. You got to beat that. You got to beat that every single time and make sure that you continue to move forward in a positive manner. Stay positive. Know that good things are there for you. Light Spear. I think Dino Chicken is pretending to be a guy named Santino. There you go.
Yes. Don't look back.
Yeah. Don't look back.
You ready?
Yeah.
So imagine living in a nation where all the world is a stage. And the rulers of this nation realized in advance that the people were waking up and becoming aware of the heavy tax burdens, the endless war profiteering, and all of the corruption against the people of the corporation that is the United States of America. These rulers who have held power for so long would find a solution in a reset, or the fall of an empire and the rise of a new, as we have seen in history before, and we know history tends to repeat. If we can fall for psychological operations, then we could easily entertain the idea that this solution has been thought out and scripted well in advance. In short, the rulers would put into place a leader who promises through him, we the people can abolish the corrupt agencies and lift the heavy tax burdens and end all wars. However, could it be that the true rulers behind the curtains have already restructured the system in a way to continually benefit the elite while giving the scraps to the rest of us? Looking back at history, it tells us we can only believe half of what a politician promises. So are we just dealing with another salesman selling snake oil to heal a nation? And who really is behind that curtain?
Thoughts, Santino?
I'm glad that people are asking the questions because we can't just blindly follow. And this is what an awakened mind would tend to gravitate towards is yes, we love Trump, but we should always keep that leery eye open because in the end, he's a man, right? And we are prone to fall. That's kind of our thing. And I think that President Trump himself would even encourage that, to tell you the truth, because what he's gone through to do this would certainly indicate, and the things that we're seeing to give us our liberty back are certainly things that we should like be grateful for, without a doubt. And people can take advantage of that. And so those are the things that we need to be aware of. So I think that it's really good that the questions are being asked. But my faith is still in President Trump. I still believe that President Trump is doing the right thing. And, until then, what better option do we have other than to continue to wake people up? And as we wake people up, be open to the possibility that anything could be wrong. That's kind of a humility action in and of itself is I don't know, but I know that I'm willing to see what it could be.
I agree.
Yeah.
So obviously, you see, we have a theme going tonight, so we're going to carry on with that theme.
All right.
There's 170 women that are either mentioned by name or alluded to in scripture. But there is only one woman that Jesus ever tells us to remember. In the midst of a discourse about the end times, Jesus said, remember Lot's wife, the only thing we know about Lot's wife. In Genesis 19:26, but Lot's wife looked back and became a pillar of salt. The angel of the Lord said, don't look back at what's burning down. Don't look back at what I am finished with. Don't look back at the thing I am delivering you from. Don't look back at that thing. Look forward to the future. It says, but Lot's wife looked back and she became a pillar of salt. She got calcified and stuck in a place that she was only meant to be passing through. And our world has shifted and a shaking has happened and things as we've known it are burning to the ground. And that word look back in the original language, it's look back with longing and a desire to go back. Her attachment to the past was greater than her commitment to the future. She wanted what she was leaving more than what God had for her in the future. We are so busy looking back and longing for the old.
That's Santino.
She's one of the ones that does the daily thing on our YouVersion Bible app.
Yes.
Not paid, just awesome. And
Just
we
awesome
use
app.
it. Yeah, awesome app. And we use it every day.
Every single day.
Yeah, she does one of the, or she's done more than one. She's done quite a few of the verse of the day. And I'm glad that she put that fine point on the whole thing, and that was it was a longing for. So what does that indicate? It indicates that she wasn't necessarily looking back. You can, and this has been popping up just around my little daily life, and that is you can reach back but don't look back. And I think the point is you can grab something that's useful to you to move forward, but don't look back and start remembering about how things were and longing for the way things were, because that's where the death is. And really, if you think about it, people that we call salty nowadays, they're kind of angry people about things that have been and the way things were and stuff like that. And so that saltiness, isn't it amazing how the modern lingo has come to match what the biblical teaching of Lot's wife was? And then I think that this is something to keep in mind too. So Yeshua, he was the one that was the only one that he pointed to specifically, and what he was basically, and it's not just women, it's men too. Don't be salty about how things are because you want them to be a certain way because that's the way it was before. You need to be able to take the pertinent information and bring it forward to create the future that should be, as opposed to the present, which has become because we weren't doing the things that we did. As you reach back, it's kind of like Pandora's box. You're going to have to look at yourself as well and say, okay, what can I do better this time around? And that's what we need to do.
Absolutely.
So yeah, always make sure you're looking back at yourself on these things too.
Yep, exactly.
Salt can heal, salt can corrode. Use wisdom. Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
You ready?
Yeah.
So keep in mind, when you're arguing with some sort of what is apparently a bot on the internet, understand that this is what we're up against. This is a Chinese bot farm, and they have computers or people hooked up to phones that they can make hundreds of posts every hour on anything they want, specifically the propaganda of the country they're supporting. And the problem with this is it's getting more sophisticated. There are now systems being put in place where phones are just hooked to computers, and using AI or using some sort of algorithm, they're able to slightly alter each post that they make to still remain on message, whether it's pro-Russia, pro-China, push that out to the wider world, but they're altered in such a way that it doesn't send up any red flags to the algorithms on Twitter or any of the other apps. Not that there's any kind of flag for that on TikTok, but this is the more sophisticated version. Individuals running hundreds of phones via a computer and software, altering their broad posts to be individually unique. So it looks like there's hundreds of people supporting what is ostensibly a terrible Chinese or Russian policy. This is, again, what we are up against.
Thoughts, Santino?
Who was it said what a demeaning job?
Denise.
Yeah. Perfect. It is a demeaning job. And really, if you think about it, your entire job is to sit there and lie, as if it was something that was important. And that's a thought process that people are going to have to wake up to is we don't want people like that working around us, because they're willing to lie to get to the top. They don't care about doing things the right way. And that's something we've gotten away from. The cream rises to the top. And, if people are experts in what they do and they, have a good idea as to what's going on, if they're being inspired and led, then they will rise to the top naturally. Yeah, President Trump may have had a lot of support that a lot of other people didn't have, but his genuine nature is very much an endearing quality that make people drawn to him naturally, provided that their ears are open, because people recognize, if they're using their brain, that what he's saying is exactly what this is supposed to be about. And so Trump naturally gets these followers. Trump naturally gets, obviously the hate of these people who have larger budgets than they have any leadership capability. So they make the truth silent because they don't have anything to stand on. But the good thing is this is, we've seen this before, we've shown this before, but I think that that's something that's important for people to see when, there's in the day of the internet troll, people have started to point out in the comment sections, bot alert or something like that. And people will, recognize that this is there are paid things. This is one of those things that helps build discernment. And so, yeah, just keep fighting the fight. But that's what we're up against is some kid that has no soul that's, wanting the easy money to sit around and talk trash on the internet and get paid for it.
Exactly.
Make it seem like it's more important than it really is.
Exactly. Ugh. You ready?
Yeah. And I like how he didn't point out that it was anything more than, actually, I didn't like it. I was kind of upset about that, but he said China and Russia. Aren't there other people who pay for that kind of stuff?
Of course.
Yeah. I wonder who that could be. Interesting. I'll have to ponder on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I got Tucker.
But I watched CNN today and they had the presidential debate, the US presidential debate. And maybe some of you saw it. And if you did, well, it was amazing. But what was especially amazing was afterward, they went to the panel of assembled Democratic operatives posing as journalists. And all of them were like shocked to discover that Joe Biden has dementia. Like they couldn't believe it. What? Oh my gosh. He's non-compass menace. No way. Are you serious? It was 2019 that I heard from a friend of mine who's friends with his sister, Val, that the family was very upset because Joe has dementia and he's running for president. And when you travel outside our borders, people are like, so Joe Biden, how is he? Well, I think he has dementia. He certainly does. Like everybody knows because they have, I can't remember, the internet. But for the media today to be like, wow, we just got the diagnosis. This is shocking. He can't run for president. Either they're really stupid, like too stupid to breathe unaided, or they're liars. They're truly dishonest. They're hiding the obvious from you.
Thoughts, Santino?
It's kind of funny that people are like trying to be courteous about the about not pointing out that Biden's got dementia. And it's like, no, just come out and say it. But then again, I think that's a uniquely American trait. Ghost Pepper says, sad. They need bot farms to seem relevant. Exactly. We actually have the numbers, real people. And that's the point. They need to make it look like that, that paper tiger is just that, made out of paper. It's not a real tiger. And so that's exactly the point. And
it's amazing that all of a sudden from the debate, mainstream media, oh my God, there's something wrong with him. You've known it a long time. Stop being that way.
Well, they have to hide it. They have to lie because there's so many parts and pieces that have to come together to make the lie seem real. That's why the press is the way it is. It's a house of cards built on lies. Yeah, and Tucker really points out some good. He makes the points in a manner that's well received. Oh, and then I think Wendy said something about people chose their bread in circuses. Yes, Wendy, they did choose their bread in circuses, and now we all get to play along because of that. But the good news is that that you were trying to spread the truth out there before people were willing to listen. And they are obviously coming around to it. I voted for Biden. It's like that. Wow. I didn't know y'all actually existed.
I know.
But the thing is they're starting to wake up now. So yeah, we had to experience it. But how many people have woken up? How many people are going to be voting for Trump this time? Because it's a lot better when he was here, and they may not know the extent of everything that's going to be happening, but Trump does. And he's let us know before he got out of being president before, or actually on his campaign trail, he said, I'm going to finish cleaning the swamp when I get back. So we know he's going to get back. He's going to finish cleaning the swamp. And then as the swamp gets to get more cleaned up, then people will start to see more and more of the deception that we've been under. Wendy says that's exactly what I meant with the comments, Santino. Beautiful. All right, good. I just want to make sure.
Chachi says, I don't
weren't
know
being
why.
salty.
I don't know why it didn't come over. I don't know. It's
What?
being weird.
Oh,
But
here we go.
Chachi said, I heard that Jenna Ellis was trying to push DeSantis versus Newsom, the new thing.
What? DeSantis versus Newsom.
Yeah,
Well, why DeSantis?
because he's younger than Trump.
Oh, that's not going to work.
So,
Yeah, well, I mean, they have to try something.
yeah.
Whatever. All right.
So now we have Preston, and he's going to talk about his thoughts on the debate.
All right. This should
Ready?
be fun. Yeah.
Make no mistake, what we saw on that stage on Thursday night was not an accident. It was not a flaw. It most certainly was not just Joe Biden, but it was a representation of the entire Democratic Party and the mainstream media that have lied to the American people over the last 3.5 years. The Democrats have lied to the American people for a purpose. We all know on Capitol Hill, and have known for several months, that Joe Biden is not going to be the nominee for 2024. We all know. Their plan is to, at the very last moment, to pack the ticket with two individuals that are even more radical than Joe Biden. The plan has never been for Biden to be president beyond 2024. So all of this staged and fake panic that you are seeing across the Democratic Party, the mainstream media, and all of these journalists who are coming out calling for President Biden to step down, it's all part of their movie. It's all part of their play. So do not for 1 second fall prey to it or believe it. What I will say is Joe Biden represents the Democratic Party today. So the same individual who stood on that stage and forgot the 13 dead American soldiers is the same individual who is leading that party and represents the Democratic Party. As an American, if you ever needed any more proof that the Democrats don't care anything about you, and they most certainly do not care anything about our military, listen to that response from Joe Biden. You see, those 13 American soldiers, their lives were taken because of Joe Biden. Their lives were taken because of Democrats and their policies. Those 13 dead American soldiers are not here today because Joe Biden was elected president. And if they're going to forget 13 dead American soldiers standing on a world stage, they most certainly are going to forget you the second they're reelected. Which is why my job and your job is to make sure that they are not reelected, to make sure that whomever may end up on that Democratic ticket leading into November doesn't even have a chance at entering the White House, and to make sure that every single Democratic representative across this country who is running for re-election is unseated. The audacity that these sick, evil, twisted individuals would forget and downplay the 13 dead American soldiers who died at their hands is all I ever have to know that you could not pay me enough money to vote for a Democrat in 2024, or quite frankly, in my lifetime. And to every single American out there who's saying, what do we do now? What we do now is to continue to elevate President Trump. We continue to speak out as conservatives, as patriots, and forget that Joe Biden even exists. What we do need to be mindful of is, don't you for 1 second think that the individuals they're going to place on that ticket come November are not going to be very strong individuals within the Democratic Party. Now, they want us to believe that President Trump now, post-debate, has a foot in the door and it is smooth sailing from here. It most certainly is not. We are up against an even tougher adversary within the Democratic Party. Now, while we don't know who that may be, per se, we do know that it's going to be a very difficult time. So the time is now to unite. Stop talking about Joe Biden. Stop talking about the failed debate. Stop letting the mainstream media distract you and manipulate you to believe that they are surprised that Joe Biden is of this mindset, and focus on elevating President Trump. Much love. God bless. I look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail post-convention.
So one of the things, I'll say thoughts in just a minute, but one of the things that hit me right away was he said, it's part of their movie. He said movie. More and more is coming out. And more people are catching on to what is really happening now.
Well,
So
and-
thoughts?
and comfortable enough to speak about it. And,
Yes.
you know, this is what the Democrats always call dog whistles.
Mhm.
And you could say that this is easily a dog whistle to let people know that it's a movie.
Mhm.
You know, kind of cuey, right? Now, with that being said, it does seem rather movie-like, rather scripted.
Mhm.
But then again, we knew that Joe, I mean, he's been diminishing since day one.
Right.
We-
Whoever this is.
Yeah, whoever this is.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's not going to be Joe because Joe couldn't get it done. And whoever they put in place is going to be taken down a couple of notches as well. Whoever comes up against President Trump, and I think this is the reason why President Trump hasn't announced the VP candidate yet. Let's see. F. Clinton says clapping,
He's clapping
over on Pill.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's going over to all
Oh, God.
the places.
Thanks, F. Clint. Appreciate the support, man. Anyways, so this is like, okay, so part of the movie, but it's the part of the movie that exposes and gets people that were power players within the Democratic Party to have to come up against Trump in a debate. And we know how that's not going to work out well for them. So, you know, we shall see. I mean, Trump is, you know, I'm not going to say it, but he's master at debates.
I know.
Yeah.
I get it. You ready?
Yeah.
I got Tim Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite verses, John 16:33. It's the night before Jesus goes to the cross. He's with his disciples and he tells them, like, hey guys, for in me, you have peace. In the world, it's guaranteed you will have trials and tribulations. But take heart. Because I have overcome the world. Yeah. Right? It's such a fascinating verse because it's before he went to the cross. But he says it with such certainty that I have overcome the world. Right? So when we face those trials and tribulations, one, we know where we find peace in him. And two, we know if we continue to look back at the cross, we're reminded he overcame the world. So we can keep marching forward. We can keep taking the next step because I know where I find peace and I know that we've won. Yeah. I know we found peace and I know we've won. So I got to keep taking the next steps because this has been promised. I'm going to have trials. I'm going to have tribulations. I'm going to have setbacks. Yeah. But the setbacks are not what defines me. His scars define me.
That's awesome.
Thoughts?
I love Tim Tebow. Dude's awesome. It's heartwarming. It's amazing to think about that he has overcome the world, and that's why we should take heart in the trials that we go through. He went through the hardest trials, so that way our trials weren't as bad.
Exactly.
And that is an amazing thought once you think about it. So with that being said, stay positive. Keep moving forward. Don't look back. Hammering on this one again, but know that the future, it may suck. It may suck right now, but that's good. That's a good thing that things suck because it means that you're growing and we're trying to grow. And so we have to enjoy that growth and be grateful for that growth because we learn so much more if we're, you know, like humble and recognize that God's got this. And no matter what happens, it's perfect. It's exactly the way it should be.
Exactly. You know what else is perfect? Well, almost perfect.
What?
In my eyes.
What?
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm excited to bring you my Giza Dream bed sheets for the best offer ever. We're all experiencing unprecedented rising prices, but I was able to secure a limited amount of Giza cotton for a great price, and I'm going to pass those savings directly on to you. Get my Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98 with your promo code. They're the most luxurious sheets ever, made with the world's finest cotton, grown only in a region between the Sahara Desert, Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River, where the weather conditions are perfect for growing cotton. My sheets are ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. I guarantee they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 50% on my Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.98. Quantities are extremely limited at these amazing prices, so please order now.
All right. I said, man, those sheets, I said, almost perfect.
Yeah. You know what? It's the best we can get right now.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know I love Mike Lindell, and I geese a sheet about the Giza sheets.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, the guy is a solid American. He's been
Yes.
trying. He put himself in harm's way, and he's had to, have that absolute faith in some of the greatest trials.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray that he gets rewarded for that. But the fruits of his labor are fine quality products. I don't think that there's a quality, or there's a product that I don't think that is quality, and at least a considerable amount of thought and consideration was put into them. And those are solid sheets. So
They
you know
are.
what? If you're in the market for some sheets because you got like scratchy feet like I do or whatever, which Kay absolutely hates, but whatever. Anyways, they're high quality. They're going to stick around. And you know what? You
mypillow.com
yeah.
/DTOO.
Yeah.
You ready?
Buy once, cry once.
I know. Actually, they're on sale.
Well, they're on sale. Yeah, you don't even have to do
No,
much
it's
crying.
a bigger sale
It's a
right
bigger
now
sale.
because of 4th of July. So go check
awesome.
it out.
All
Go
right.
check it out.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
is from Christian.
All right. Christian. He's awesome.
Shout out.
Brilliant.
So you want to read that real quick?
Fun fact, Jim Carrey was my favorite actor as far back as Fire Marshal Bill. His best performances yet is Joe Biden by far.
Both how making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare, we're trying to provide housing for Black Americans. The impact on the choice, the idea that they're gonna, I'm proposing that everybody, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one I've not raised the cost of Social Security for anybody. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it stopped. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
Thoughts, Santino?
I mean, it could be Jim Carrey without a doubt. I mean, Jim Carrey's just an amazing actor. And I could see after a week's worth of preparation with Jim Carrey that he could pull off a stunt like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, it was a painful debate to watch. It was awful. It was painful. And I could tell in between each one of the breaks that there was a significant decline between each one.
Mm-hmm.
So basically showing that whatever uppers they had him on was wearing off. Jenny says people in the comments were arguing about him playing Joe. Jim is only 2 inches taller than Joe. 2 inches is an easy fix with lifts. That's, or,
Slouch.
well, what's the difference between Hillary Clinton and her double, that actress?
A lot.
Yeah, like that's how everybody noticed that.
Yeah.
Hillary was significantly shorter after she passed out allegedly
Yeah.
when they threw her in the van like a side of beef.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hmm.
You ready?
Yeah.
I have never in my lifetime seen a pre-convention debate.
Oh, that is true.
That was unusual.
That
A
is true.
pre-convention debate.
I hadn't thought about that.
Debates are always after the two nominating conventions. I have never seen the two prospective nominees debate before they're nominated.
It's true.
It was a setup, my view. And I believe the chief setter-upper was Barack Obama, the man who speaks through the earpiece, the man who said years ago, if I could have a third term, I would talk through an earpiece.
What you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
They set up Joe Biden for the takedown. They have concealed his mental decline for several years. And then all of a sudden, they unseal it.
Yes.
Before the convention. That was a deliberate act of sabotage. Joe Biden's inner circle sabotaged his career. He's now finished. Everybody knows it. And those around close to him publicly will say, we love Joe Biden. He's a good man. He's a great man. He's a wonderful president.
But he's old, and
but we've got to break it to him gently that he's got to retire. But you'll have on the outside more people like Senator McCaskill saying, I'm shocked. We can't go on like this. We have to find a new leader.
Biden had one thing he had to do tonight, and he didn't do it. He had one thing he had to accomplish, and that was reassure America that he was up to the job at his age. And he failed at that tonight.
That's what you're going to be hearing and seeing for the next 2 weeks. And then you're going to see all the stories about so-and-so is preparing. I was told weeks ago that Governor Gretchen Whitmer had dispatched a political team to D.C. to prepare for her presidential campaign. I was told that weeks ago. Why? Because the word was out inside the Democratic Party. Joe Biden's going to go down at the debate. There's no way he'll be able to withstand President Trump in that debate. That's what's happened. They're now going to put him out to pasture. They're going to take him to the old folks' home. He's headed to Delaware. All right. Now, he's not going to resign as president. They're going to continue because he's not running the White House anyhow. They're just going to prop him up somewhere, keep him comfortable, and let him pretend he's the president until January.
Thoughts, Santino?
That was a great little clip there. Had all the pertinent information, and the fact that he brought up, which was this debate was done before the convention. It was entirely done to get Joe out of the show. Yep. Central casting. Had to be done. And this would explain, I'm kind of wondering how far did Barack Obama make that statement about if I had somebody that had an earpiece in and I could say what I wanted them to say? I wonder how far that was in relation to the whole receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
I know.
I would like to see the dates on that. That would be an interesting little tidbit there.
Exactly. You ready?
Yeah.
An E12, you say? That is very impressive, especially considering that when I was in the Army, the enlisted ranks, which is what the E in E12 stands for, only went up to E9. And even if you tried to count the Sergeant Major of the Army or the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps as E10, which it's not, but even if you wanted to call it that, I guess an E11 would be Sergeant Major of the World, which means an E12 is like Sergeant Major of the Universe. No, sir, what you are is stolen valor. What you are is lying about your service. Now, maybe you did serve. I'm not going to say you're not a veteran. I'm not going to say you didn't serve in the military. I mean, don't get me fucking wrong. I'm leaning towards that because anybody who served would know that E12 is not a rank. And anybody who's commenting on TikTok obviously has a phone, which means you have access to Google. So you could have saved yourself a lot of embarrassment before making this comment. But E12 is not a rank. It has never been, nor will ever be. So please just stop.
Santino.
It's kind of funny in E12. I honestly don't believe that if anybody ever said E12 that they were ever spent more than a day in the delayed entry program before they got there, because that's one of the things they teach you is the ranks. So absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe that there's still people trying to do that. Wow. Well,
Isn't it just mind-blowing?
it is mind blowing. It's
An E12.
mildly amusing, but
Mhm.
infuriating all at the same time. But, you know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I know.
He got you on that one, Mr. E12 man.
Exactly. E12. You ready?
Yeah. Sergeant Major of the
Another
world.
have another video from Christian. Thank you, Christian, for this amazing video. Ready?
Thank you, Christian.
Professor Vanderlinden oversees the Social Decision Making Lab at Cambridge University, which has a working partnership with the Department of Homeland Security Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Another key partner in this pre-bunking psychological inoculation project is Jigsaw, which is a unit of Google. When the unit began in 2010, it went by the name of Google Ideas. It was started, as one report described it, quote, to try out ideas that address the challenges of counterterrorism, interradicalism, and nonproliferation. So Google hired Jared Cohen as the director of this new unit. At the time, Cohen was the Assistant Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. Okay. The New York Times, the profile they did on him, called him the public face of 21st century statecraft. In 2009, while he was at the State Department, Cohen controversially convinced the then Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey to delay scheduled maintenance on a site so Iranian protesters could continue communicating during their election uprising. Cohen later said he made the move to Google Ideas because there are, and I quote, things the private sector can do that the U.S. government cannot. But how much more can they do when they all work together? In 2016, Google Ideas changed its name to Jigsaw. They debuted a new tool known as the redirect method. This tool, quote, places ads in the search results and the social media feeds of users who are searching for pre-identified terms that we have associated with one online particular harm. Those ads in the search results then redirect the user to content that provides constructive alternative messages. Jigsaw's partner in developing the redirect method was a British company called Moonshot. Moonshot also has partnered on projects with the U.S. State Department. Initially, Jigsaw and Moonshot's redirect method was hyped as a way to target potential ISIS recruits. But shortly after it launched in 2016, the co-founder of Moonshot said phase 2 of the redirect tool would target right-wing extremists in the U.S. I just want you to understand, this is multiple government agencies working with private corporations to change your mind and change the argument of all Americans that disagree with the government. If that's not a clear warning sign, I don't think you're going to get a bigger one. By 2021, Jigsaw announced that it had advanced the redirect method to pre-bunking. And it said that according to its own studies, pre-bunking works in keeping people from adopting extremist views. What are those views? I would imagine views like mine. These are companies that have partnerships with U.S. and British government agencies working on advanced technology to steer public opinion. Now, in a sane world, you could see how a tool like this might be a good thing in helping to disrupt recruiting efforts by actual terrorists. But no, they've redefined what terrorists and what extremists are. The real danger here is who gets to decide what needs redirecting or pre-bunking. And after they really master this, will you even know you've been manipulated? The question that I have talked about for years that I didn't understand back in the mid-90s when I first saw it discussed is the disappearance of freedom of choice. Will you even know if that choice that you just made was made by you or made by you because someone else has manipulated you? Who decides what's an extremist? Who decides what's a terrorist or a danger to our republic? We've seen the answer to these questions.
Thoughts, Santino?
So yeah, Glenn Beck, obviously, well, not everybody's in the Rumble chat there, but it's about a lot of people don't trust Glenn Beck, basically, and that he, tells half truths. He's kind of,
We don't watch him.
we don't watch him. And so the discussion has been more along the lines of he's helping some people, kind of like Charlie Ward, people on their way up and through the conspiracy, and people will get stuck there because he does have good charts and he does, put a lot of things together. And I do believe that he's helped wake some people up to other things. But he's also been a part of the big system. He started on CNN. So what do you really expect? It's he was former legacy media, and I can see how he would be useful if he is certainly a part of that conspiracy, because as they pointed out, he's a never Trumper. But where we disagree, the good thing is he's getting some truth out there for people right now, and everybody's on their own individual path again. So maybe that's what helps some people. Who knows? I know that I used to like to watch Glenn Beck years ago, back when he was on Fox News, when I was a TV watcher, personally. But we all got our own little place. So with the information that he was putting out there, it was good information, and we need to be able to take that information. If it's good information and we can share that, then that's something that's going to help wake people up. And I think that that's the important point, is making sure that we're able to share this kind of information. So yeah, that's great. But at the same time, have that information that you do have about how he's a never Trumper and all of these other things. Make sure you put that caveat in there, because then you are making sure that all of the information is out there, and you are thank you, Denise, that you're making sure that the people who are watching it have all of the information. And then that way you're actually helping people build that discernment, so that way they can see, like, okay, he may be giving some good info here, but oh God, this is bad info that he's given over there. And so, yeah, I think it's a great thing.
I do think that right now he's being used to help open people's eyes. That doesn't mean that I've never really been a fan of his, as you know.
Yeah, you never really liked him.
But if he's helping to open just one person's eyes, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. So
I'll get there at our own pace.
we do. We're all on our own part of our journey.
On my own schmiag. Nothing's changed.
You ready?
Yeah.
Humility is the most important characteristic for a human being to have, definitely for a leader to have, and in an organization. And what we're talking about right now, if you're not humble enough to think that maybe you need to make some adjustments, that is going to bite you. And it might not bite you tomorrow. It might not even bite you next year, but it will bite you. So we have to stay humble all the time. We're in a constant battle with our ego. Now, is there a dichotomy to this? Yes, there is. Of course there is. Do we want to have people to have some ego? Yeah, of course. I want someone that wants to work hard. I want someone that wants to win. Yes. But do I want somebody that's going to make bad decisions so they can win? That's going to win for them but hurts the company? No, don't want that. Do I want somebody that hoards information because they like to be powerful? No, I want somebody that's humble. So I'm constantly looking for that characteristic when I bring people on board, when I was putting people in leadership positions in the SEAL team. It's like, who is humble enough to not think they know everything, to listen to what other people have to say, to recognize that they could be wrong about some of their ideas, and then make adjustments. We have to stay humble.
All right, Santino.
I think that's amazing. And coming from a guy who was on SEAL Team 6 talking about humility, and that is, kind of part of the process of going up. I can tell you that humility is an important thing. And I haven't always been humble, I'll tell you that, just in case y'all didn't figure that one out already. But anyways, so we are going to be going into some difficult and challenging times as people are waking up to the things that have been going on. And it's the leadership that God has been calling us to. That's why he had us get the information that we did, and to be able to see the world the way we did, the truth behind the stuff that was really going on in the background. And more people are, waking up to that. And so they need that leadership, but that leadership has to be done with humility. And so I want to say that it's probably one of the most important things that we move forward, especially with the gal that gave her testimony about being a lesbian and how she's had her journey. And she had some people put into her life who were very humble, and that's what encouraged her to move forward. And so we need to remember that. We need to remember to stay humble ourselves, because it's the very humility that will get people to ask more questions. And they may not ask those questions of you, they may ask other people. But if it's that one time where you can get somebody to feel comfortable to be able to ask you questions about some of the real stuff that's going on in the world, then you are leading somebody. And so that's something that we need to remember is that we are being called to be leaders, each and every one of us. That's why you've been awoken before so many people. That's why you can see that it's a movie. That's why you can see that it's, the very real possibility that it's Jim Carrey. But you're honest enough, which is a humble thing, to say, well, I can't prove that it's Jim Carrey, but at the same time, here are the reasons that I believe. Again, humble leadership, and that humble leadership, and really it's just a matter of being a friend and guiding people to the places where they can get it done themselves. And so make sure that you're being that humble leader, so that way we can get out of this stupid movie.
Well, there is that.
Yeah. Anyways, with that being said, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. Did you have any seasoning for that?
No,
No,
I thought
okay.
that was perfect.
All right. Well, thank you. Anyways, so we'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
Absolutely. And if you haven't already, please take a minute and hit that thumbs up button if you're over on Rumble or YouTube. Smash that heart if you're over on X, and take that red pill if you're over on Pilled. And remember, it's like a little virtual hug, and we love each and every one of you. And thank you so much for always coming and hanging out with us. It really does mean the world to us. And we love you all.
We do love you all. Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us today. We love you all. Have a great night. God bless, and be safe.